A monthly board meeting of the Shell Rock River Watershed District for November 10th, 2025 is now called to order. Please call roll.
Manager Bakken.
Aye.
Manager DeBoer.
Aye.
Manager Kramer.
Aye.
Manager Pasuski.
Aye.
Manager Lee.
Aye.
Manager Delger.
Aye. Item number 2, public forum. Anyone from the public like to speak? I do not see anyone, so we will go on to item number 3. Approval of the agenda. Are there any additions, corrections, deletions?
Mr. Chair, we have one addition, and that's going to be under the consent agenda. Item G is the minutes of the November 7th, 2025 Shell Rock River Watershed District's Personnel Committee meeting. And then under administrator's item E is a resolution 2025-08 to revise the employee handbook. We're going to remove this and put it on the December's meeting.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve with the addition and correction or deletion?
Make that motion.
By Manager Kramer, do I have a second?
I'll second.
By Manager Lee. Any discussion? Will you please call roll?
Manager Bakken.
Aye.
Manager DeBoer.
Aye.
Manager Kramer.
Aye.
Manager Pasuski.
Aye.
Manager Lee.
Aye.
Manager Delger.
Aye. Okay, we go on to item number 4, the consent agenda. The following items will be acted upon without discussion in accordance with the staff recommendation and associated documents unless a manager requests opportunity for discussion. A, the minutes of October 14th, 2025 Shell Rock River Watershed District regular board meeting. B, minutes of the October 29th, 2025 Shell Rock River Watershed District Personnel Committee meeting minutes. C, October 2025 Treasurer's Report, subject to audit. D, October 2025 Project Fund Treasurer's Report, subject to audit. E, authorized payment of claims. F, authorized payment of project fund claims. 6, minutes of the November 7th, 2025 Shell Rock River Watershed District Personnel Committee. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make that motion.
By Manager Pasuski, do I have a second?
Second.
And Manager DeBoer. Oh, sure got your last name. Any discussion? Hearing none, you'll please call roll.
Manager Bakken.
Aye.
Manager DeBoer.
Aye.
Manager Kramer.
Aye.
Manager Pasuski.
Aye.
Manager Lee.
Aye.
Manager Delger.
Aye, motion carried. Item number 5, Natural Resource Technician Mike Wackles.
And I'll take this one, Mr. Chair. Mike is out getting the van for the tour. So his update on the Goose Lake fish barrier, the equipment still hasn't arrived. It is supposed to be here in the next couple of weeks. We are also checking with Freeborn Mauer on the electrical out there. Once we took the high voltage barrier out, we had them disconnect. They're trying to figure out if they disconnect or actually remove power. So we're checking with them on that. So we'll have more of an update on those situations for you in December. Mike is also told that there will be some additional costs for the tariffs. Remember, this equipment's coming from Finland. We don't know what those costs are as of right now. So we will, once we get that number, we will share that with the board and discuss how to pay for that or where the funds will come. So that's all I have for Mike's item.
Well, item 6, Project and Program Manager Courtney Phillips.
Morning, the first item I have is a resolution 2025-07, which is initiate the Upper Twin Lake WMA wetland. Just a little bit of background, this comes from our Lassard Sands Phase 11 listing. It is on the property that we called Church Lake, the one that we purchased and then donated to the DNR. It is to do some simple tile breaks and berm creation, or removing a tile and creating a berm to restore some natural wetlands that are seen out on site. We had some additional funding, so we were able to include this project in. When we acquired the property, we did not have enough funding for restoration at the time. So now we're looking at doing the restoration of that parcel. So if there's a first and a second, I will read the resolution.
Do I have a first?
So moved.
By Manager Lee, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Manager Kramer, would you please read the resolution?
Yeah, resolution 2025-07 Upper Twin Lake WMA Wetland Project, initiate project 2025-02. Whereas the Shell Rock River Watershed District Board of Managers pursues the mission of implementing reasonable and necessary improvements to the water-related and other natural resources within its boundaries. Whereas the Shell Rock River Watershed District is charged with implementing the Shell Rock River Watershed District Comprehensive Watershed Management Plan. Whereas project goals and objectives set forth in the plan include improve water quality and clarity to district lakes, improve and enhance waterfall habitat, minimize flood damage to property and preserve the function of the floodplain, restore wetlands upstream, and increase native seed plantings. Therefore, the Board of Managers hereby finds that the project has the potential to promote the public interest and welfare, is practicable, and conforms to the watershed management plan as set forth above. Therefore, be it hereby resolved that the Shell Rock River Watershed District, Section 1, initiates project number 2025-02, Upper Twin Lake WMA Wetland Project. Section 2 authorizes district staff to negotiate appropriate professional services agreements to promote and complete the Upper Twin Lake WMA Wetland Project. And Section 3 authorizes district staff to conduct work as needed to present this project to the board for review and public hearing as required by law, dated November 10th, 2025.
Any discussions?
Just to relay, it'll be completely funded through SRRWD phase 11. One of our oldest phases of funding. We will be working with the DNR in the form of a joint powers agreement. I also plan on doing some diversity seeding. We did seed this parcel already. However, it didn't take very well and it's really weedy. So we need to get that under control. And if there's buckthorn out there, we'd like to get that addressed as well too.
Okay. Hearing no further discussion. Will you please call roll?
Manager Bakken,
Aye.
Manager DeBoer,
Aye.
Manager Kramer.
Aye.
Manager Pasuski,
Aye.
Manager Lee,
Aye.
Manager Belcher.
Aye, motion for resolution passed, 2025-07.
Thank you. The next item is a motion to execute the option agreement for the owned property. This was emailed out to you, but I do have a handwritten copy if you want. This was the property that was tabled last meeting. Since that meeting, we did get the appraisal in. The property did appraise at $125,000. I worked with the landowner and we are agreed upon or negotiated a price of $120,000. So that is below appraised value. Again, this is a landowner that came to us with the intention of selling this property to have it open to public use. It will go to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services ICNE WPA that completely surrounds it on 3 sides. This is the property that is just located east of Alden by about 3 miles. Been working with this landowner for a long time and she's really eager to get it done as soon as possible. She has some reasons that she needs it, but again, it was her wishes to have it open to the public and we've developed a really good working relationship with her. So she is looking forward to selling the property.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Manager Kramer, do I have a second?
Second.
Manager Lee, any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, the property according to the county is at 119,200. So I think we're close to the I know the appraisal was at 125, so we're at 120. I guess I have a few questions about everything. There's a house on it when you look at, so do we have some expenses there then?
Yeah, yes, so you are correct that there is some buildings on site. They were basically appraised as null value. And if you just open up the front door, you completely see why the house is pretty much caved in on the inside. We do have some funds for restoration and working with Lassard Sands, they have been recently looking at investigating when people are purchasing parcels that have buildings on them, and if it's the cost of removal is less than 10% of the property or underneath 100,000, whatever is greater, it can include the cost of restoration in to remove the buildings. There's actually a Lassard Sands meeting tomorrow that is going to discuss acquisitions with buildings for any forthcoming properties. I think we're underneath an older grant agreement that they wouldn't apply to us, but we'd still want to run by the guidelines. We have purchased properties before with a house on it, such as the Olive Schroeder parcel. We were able to crush the septic system and remove the house, and all of those were grant reimbursed. So this would be similar. We would have some buildings to remove, some foundations to remove, a septic system to remove, and a well to seal. We could get cost share funding for the well sealing through our WBIF funding. We could potentially work with the fire department to remove the house, but I think it's in such bad condition that it would be unsafe and not fit to, so it would just be a knockdown type situation. And then we would have to crush the septic. Those are, again, all costs that we could reimburse to Lessard Sands, and we could work with US Fish and Wildlife. They don't have as large a pot of money as we do, but they are aware that there could be some potential sharing of funds for the restoration costs. So my expectation is it would take no Shell Rock general fund dollars and it would all be reimbursed by the grant.
My only other comment is I'd like to see the property stay, in private hands. I know there's some instances that it doesn't happen that way, but so I guess today I'm a little more agreeable to this, but I still gonna vote no because I still like to see it in private hands. But otherwise, whatever the board does is up to them. So thank you.
Is there any other discussion? I think Courtney did a good job of negotiating down to what the county had it appraised at. He did a good job there. Thank you. Any other? Will you please call roll?
Manager Bachman,
No.
Manager DeBoer,
Aye.
Manager Kramer,
Aye.
Manager Pasuski,
Aye.
Manager Lee,
Aye.
Manager Delcher.
Aye, motion carried.
Thank you. The next item I have is a motion to execute the option agreement for the Bancroft property. Again, the appraisal was sent out. This is something that we had. We are using Lessard Sands division, a smaller division of funding. It's called CPL. It's the Conservation Partners Legacy Funding. They get their funding from Lessard Sands, but they just deal with smaller projects. And so we received $25,000 to acquire this property. It is directly adjacent to our Bancroft property that we purchased just north of Albertley that we constructed wetland restoration on. This 3-acre parcel is landlocked from the larger 80 part. I think it's an 80 or 60-acre parcel that it's attached to. It's separated by a ditch. So the landowner, the only way they can get to it is by crossing the ditch because they don't have a legal access easement through our property to get to it. And so he expressed interest in selling it to us because it's just been a native piece of property. It's wild grasses and trees. He has no beneficial use for it. So he asked if we would purchase it. So we got like I said, grant funding and appraisal for it. It appraised at $25,000. We negotiated down to $22,000. So again, this is something that's going to be coming in under appraised value for acquisition. But looking forward to execute the option for $22,000 for that chunk of ground. And we will just adopt it into our property that we have already.
Okay. We have a motion.
We'll move.
Manager Pasuski, do we have a second?
Second.
By Manager Kramer. There again, I think you did a good job of getting it under appraised value. Great, again. Any other discussion?
Will there be any water created on the property or?
At this time, we haven't done any LiDAR or any research like that, but probably not at this time, but it's something that we can look into.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, will you please call the roll?
Manager Bachman,
Aye.
Manager DeBoer,
Aye.
Manager Kramer,
Aye.
Manager Pasuski,
Aye.
Manager Lee,
Aye.
Manager Delcher.
Aye, motion carried.
Thank you. The next is a motion to apply for AIS grant. This is similar to, it is the exact same grant that we applied for last year to do curly leaf pondweed treatment in Fountain Lake. This is a luck of the draw type grant application. There's no rhyme or reason. However, they did state that if you apply for program funding in 24 and 23 and did not receive funding, you will have a higher chance of receiving a grant in 2025. It also did say that applicants that are proposing management of starry stonewort in public accesses will receive a higher priority. They also did say they try to, within the entire state of Minnesota, they try to equally distribute the funds throughout the state. So it's luck of the draw, but they have all of these if type situations. So it's something that we want to apply for. We did treatment on curly leaf on Fountain Lake last year. It was very successful. We don't quite know what it's gonna be like in spring of 2026, but it's something that if there's funding available, we'd like to see if we can get some funding to potentially do treatment. And the grants will range from $2,500 to $12,500 for awards, so. We will work with kind of Lake Solitude to get a plan together and a cost estimate. That's who we used last year, and apply.
Okay, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Manager Lee, do I have a second?
Second.
Manager Kramer, any discussion? Hearing none, Lee, please call roll.
Manager Bakken,
Aye.
Manager DeBoer,
Aye.
Manager Kramer,
Aye.
Manager Paczynski,
Aye.
Manager Lee,
Aye.
Manager Delger.
Aye, motion carried.
Thank you. The next item is a motion to apply for an MPCA grant, and that grant is called Planning Grants for Stormwater, Wastewater, and Community Resilience. Working with the city of Albert Lee and John Rather, we have a lot of funding for our channel restoration project, and most of that is for phase one at this time, which is the dam to that first railroad bridge. We do have plans of phase two, which is from the railroad bridge down to Albert Lee Lake. There's a lot of stormwater that goes into the channel, and so we're looking at potentially applying for funds to help us design. This is only a planning grant, not construction, but to help us essentially design stormwater infrastructure management related to the phase two. I would like to see it for phase one, but I think by the timing that this grant happens, we are going to be past that in our channel restoration design for phase one, so it's going to be limited to phase two. Another comment that Brad had brought up is about looking at all of the projects that we've done as far as holding water and what that's done for people downstream. So I would like to include applying for basically funds to help us gather information of how we could get our baseline data of what we have and what projects we've already done to improve stormwater and how that's, a planning forward with us going forward. So I kind of see it being a two-part, and I don't know if it's going to be two separate applications or one application with two parts, but again, just looking for funding to plan for stormwater in the channel area, plus establishing our baseline of projects that we've already done for water control.
Okay, do I have a motion? By Manager DeBoer, do I have a second?
Second.
By Manager Lee.
I also do want to point out, it does require a 10% match, and speaking with the city of Albert Lee, they said that they would be open to providing the 10% match. If it works out, I would like to use the engineering that we're already doing for phase two as match, but I don't know if it's gonna work because of the timelines of the grant agreement, but we're gonna try, and if it doesn't work, then the city said they would provide the 10%.
Try it. Any discussion? Hearing none, please call roll.
Manager Bakken,
Aye.
Manager DeBoer,
Aye.
Manager Kramer,
Aye.
Manager Paczynski,
Aye.
Manager Lee,
Aye.
Manager Delger.
Aye, motion carried.
Thank you. The next, I just have a couple of project updates. The first is the Hine wetland restoration. We have approved the project plans. We have been working with our engineer to get the project out for bid. We are hoping that that will be this week. We are planning on having bids due December 1st. So with any luck, we would be awarding a contractor for that wetland restoration at our December board meeting. We do have a channel meeting coming up this week on the 13th, which is Thursday. It's just going to be a meeting with the engineer, the city of Albert Lee staff, as well as watershed district staff to go over the concept plans that they have for the channel. From there, we will then take it to the advisory committee once we get it kind of refined down from that meeting. They're pretty excited. They said they have a lot of cool stuff to show us, so I'm excited for that meeting. Additionally, I want to let the board know that we did make amendments to our WBIF work plan, which is our watershed-based implementation funding work plan. The first is we included ISG's tracking proposal to help us track our projects and our progress towards our comprehensive watershed management plan. This has already been approved by the policy committee, but because we're fiscal agent, it's good to be transparent. And the other is we also approved the city of Glenville for purchasing a street sweeping attachment for their skid steer. It's something that they did not have in place already, so they were not conducting street sweeping activities. They had purchased one for $8,000. We approved $5,000 to help reimburse them for utilizing it, similar to how we do with the city of Albert Lee for them using their equipment. So that was also approved into our work plan. And I believe that's all that I have.
Any other questions for Courtney? Go on to next item is item number 7. Minnesota open law, our meeting law. The meeting will now be closed to discuss the Fountain Lake Restoration Project Permit Appeal. Would you please?
I will leave.
Are you gonna stay out?
I can probably just watch it.
Video later.
Okay,
Thanks.
Have a good day. You do.
Thanks, Dave.
Probably. Board managers have concluded the closed session on the Fountain Lake Restoration Project Permit Appeal. This regular board meeting of the South Rockland Road should reopen. That will go to item number 8. Administrator Andy Hensel.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The first item I have is just a update on the Fountain Lake Restoration project. This is the discussion for the dredging of Fountain Lake, East Main Bay, and Bancroft Bay. This is there's a couple maps here that we have that the board has looked at from our original design for Bancroft Bay to the final proposed design, I'm calling it, that we are submitting to the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources for the permit of Bancroft Bay and East Main Bay. We are still in the appeals process with the DNR. We feel that we are getting close to them. You will see in the next agenda item how close we think we're getting. So with that, Mr. Chair, I'm going to move to item B. And again, this is, I believe, an exciting time for the board. With item B, I'm looking for a motion to bid the Fountain Lake East Main Bay dredge project with an alternate of Bancroft Bay to be within that bid spec. Again, I know it's the board's desire to try to get these bids out so that we can get contractors looking at this for work in 2026. And also to get a good price so that we're not sitting here last minute putting this out for bid for dredging in 2026. So, Mr. Chair, I'm looking for a motion to put the Fountain Lake East Main Bay out for bid with the alternate to include Bancroft Bay design.
I have a motion.
I'd like to introduce that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Manager by Manager Bakken. Do I have a second? Second. Manager DeBoer. Any discussion? Hearing none, will you please call roll?
Manager Bakken.
Aye.
Manager DeBoer.
Aye.
Manager Kramer.
Aye.
Manager Pastuski.
Aye.
Manager Lee.
Aye.
Manager Delter.
Aye. Motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a couple notes on that. You remember this is a best value project. So most of you have had the best value training already. We still have a little bit of work to do as far as the scoring of that. But remember, we will have, once those bids come in, we will sit down as a group and go through those and score those bids for the best value once we get that information from them.
Okay.
All right, motion, item number C, excuse me, is a motion to appoint delegates to the Minnesota Watershed Annual Conference. This annual conference for the Minnesota Watersheds is December 3rd through the 5th. I believe we have, how many managers going? 3? All right, so we need 2 delegates and then 1 we'll have in reserve. So anybody who wants to be a delegate? Sure.
I may not hang around for Friday, so meetings on Friday, right?
We have the regional caucus meeting on Wednesday evening, which is where we vote for who's gonna be on the board, so my position there is up for renewal or election. And then, then Friday morning is voting. The board votes on the officers, and then we have the resolution to the legislative priorities Friday, so.
So it looks like we need a motion to put Mike Lee and Brad Kramer as our delegates.
Manager Pastuski. We have a second.
I'll second it.
Manager Bakken. Discussion. Leah, please call roll.
Manager Bakken.
Aye.
Manager DeBoer.
Aye.
Manager Kramer.
Aye.
Manager Pasuski.
Alright,
Manager Lee.
Aye.
Manager Delcher.
Aye, motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Oh, yeah, full name. We can name Joe as an alternate.
Hmm.
In case someone's not available.
okay.
Right to go.
Do I have a motion to put Joe as an alternate?
So move.
Manager Lee, do I have a second?
Second.
By Manager Kramer, any discussion? Hearing none?
Aye.
You call roll.
Manager Bakken.
Aye.
Manager DeBoer.
Aye.
Manager Kramer.
Aye.
Manager Pasuski.
Alright,
Manager Lee.
Aye.
Manager Delcher.
Aye, motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Item D is the Minnesota paid leave discussion. There are a few items that we have to put in place before December 1st. We also need to make a recommendation of the tax implications to the district. Whether that be the district as a whole or divided up between the district and staff. This includes you as managers. You guys are also included in this Minnesota paid leave. So with that, I'm going to kind of turn it over to Steph to describe what we're discussing, and what that involves as far as our handbooks, what it involves as far as staff, what that involves as far as taxes. And part of what it involved with Carmen and payroll, getting it incorporated in the payroll. So with that, Steph, you want to give us a heads up?
Try to condense this in an understandable format. Personnel committee has heard more, but effectively on January 1, 2026, there's a new law going into place called Minnesota paid leave. Previously, it was referred to as family and medical leave. That's not the name anymore. It's more expansive, so it's Minnesota paid leave. That's what it's called. The Minnesota paid leave system is going to be paid by premiums from employers and employees. The district will qualify as a small employer, so our rate will be 0.66%. And the employer portion would be 0.22%. And the employee portion 0.44%, but the employer has the election to pay it all, so it's a premium. It will show up on your pay stubs, like your social security FICA is the best kind of rationale that I can give you as a comparison. Okay, so big picture, what does paid leave do? Paid leave provides time off, paid time off, and it's wage replacement, so it's not full wages. The benefit paid will depend on what the wages are. So your lower wage earners are going to get more of their average wages versus your higher wage earners. Okay, and you can take 12 weeks of paid leave for birth or adoption of a child. And you can take 12 weeks of leave for a personal health condition. If you have both of those in 1 year, you can get up to 20 weeks total. Okay. There are qualifying events, and this is how it's going to affect the board managers. So in order to qualify, you have to have a wage threshold of the previous year. It's low, it's like $3,700 right now. It will go up every year. It's based on state average wages for the year. So I don't know how many board managers that will affect if your per diems are getting you over that rate. But if you don't hit that mark, you will not be able to use it. But you're still gonna end up paying the tax on it, the premium on it. Needless to say, this is coming fast and furious, kind of like ESST. We saw it. There's a lot of guidance that continues to come out. We're watching it very closely. The payroll softwares are not ready for this. The tax forms are not ready for this. So we're punting and doing the best that we can. Carmen's got her hands full, trying to make sure your payroll system will do this accurately when the time comes. As for requirements, we have a proposed paid leave policy that's been reviewed by the personnel committee. They wanted to take some time and have all of us review it further. before we approve it at the December board meeting. Before then, we have 2 requirements that have to be done. We have a notice that has to go out to our employees to put them on notice of what the new leave is. And what the premium split's going to be. And then we have the state poster that has to be posted saying this is what's coming. So we're prepared and we'll have both of those done before December 1st. It will go to all staff and all managers. You'll need to sign an acknowledgement of receipt for that. And then we will approve the policy at the December board meeting. So then we're ready to go as of January 1. Practically speaking, then benefit qualifications begin January 1. The paid leave is intended to be a long-term leave. So there's a 7-day waiting period before you can file a claim for that. Those claims get made with the state. They don't get made with the district. It's all managed on the state system. The equivalent to that is the Minnesota unemployment system. So that's kind of what they're piggybacking off of. The first taxes that the district will pay will be after the first quarter. So we do the wage detail reports get turned in quarterly. And then that's how your tax amount is determined. And then that would be due the end of April of next year. So that's when you will first have to pay your premium.
So they're gonna have a paid leave office, like the unemployment office?
They've created a whole new office, yes. And they're learning as well. We've had some businesses trying to reach out to do like equivalent plans and private plans and. There will be hiccups and bumps along the road. And we'll have to be nimble, but as of right now, we've got you guys positioned very well. You're ahead of the game. You'll be ready to roll it out, and if we have to adapt and review it, we certainly can. Other questions? Okay, so Administrator Hinch, I'll let you kind of talk about your.
Yes, one more question. Maybe Brad knows, is there gonna be a state advisory or a committee or something that all the watershed districts can look at for some advice here, or?
Well, we put out a training for it in August, so Minnesota Watersheds did a presentation on it, so that got sent out. That was done by an HR consultant. So that was kind of pushed out to watersheds for advisory. So definitely having Steph here, like guiding us through it more with the issues has been very instrumental, but to the best of my knowledge, other than I don't think there's anything more coming out from Minnesota Watersheds. I mean, we did, there is a resolution, it has something to do with how we tax. So, sorry, that's, so to the best of my knowledge, no.
Well, there's 2 other watershed districts, you know, in part of the county, so I'm just curious if they're up to speed on it or what.
Yeah, and we pushed out educational material, I think has been the main thing that we've done.
Yeah, I know Carmen's taken some at Bowser Academy, but again, at Bowser Academy it was pretty new to everybody, and there was 100 million questions. So again, I think it's, again, a lot of it is new to everybody, and trying to figure out how the process is going to work is there's gonna be growing pains to this process, there's no doubt about it. So really the action I need from the board is the 0.66, which is what we will have to pay as a small business. So that 0.66, including all employees and all board managers, would total $3,483.50 for the year. It was the personnel committee's recommendation to pay the full 0.66% at that $3,483.50 a year.
I'm gonna be upfront of why I supported on the personnel committee, why having the watershed pay the full amount. This is what the voters voted on into law. It's very poorly thought through. But voters should be on the hook for it rather than making staff pay those premiums out of pocket, so.
that leave us?
We need a motion, that the Shawapper Watershed District Board would approve paying the 0.66% for the Minnesota paid leave policy.
Do I have that motion?
Your agenda says discussion, so is this meant to be a approval then, or just a discussion?
Well, it was a discussion, and then I'm asking for a motion to go with the after the discussion.
I'm looking for a motion.
So moved.
Manager Kramer, do I have a second?
Second.
Manager DeBoer, any discussion?
Well, I think benefit like this, I think people ought to have some skin in the game, so. I think it should have been split between employees and employer.
But they'll, my understanding is that they, on the 0.44 goes on their taxes, they have to pay tax on that as far as accrued wages, right?
Correct, so if the board would pay the full 0.66, 0.44, that would be considered a fringe benefit for the employee. So then we were paying, the employee would then pay taxes on that 0.44%.
The other component of that is when benefits are paid out, let's say someone makes a claim. For all portions that the employer pays, that will be considered wages. So that will be taxed again on the back end upon receipts. So that's where Carmen's job gets really difficult again, is because the state will be providing frequent reports to us on what benefits are being used. And then we'll have to put those wages in on the tax forms.
Kind of follows
Can you
unemployment.
repeat that again? You lost me on this. So is that
So any,
payouts, are they considered income then, or?
if the employer pays for the premium, then that percentage is going to be treated as a taxable income to the employee.
No. How about the benefits if people do take the leave? That's.
The employer paid piece is what's gonna be taxed, so any benefit, so any portion percentage that the employer pays when the employee draws those benefits will be taxed and added to their W-2 wages.
And the portion that employer paid them, 0.22 or whatever, that's not considered an income then, so it's gonna have to be split.
That, yeah, it'll be taxed on the back end as we're paying for it, so it's wage replacement, so that's really like the way you have to look at it, because you would have paid taxes on your wages, so when you're pulling it out as a benefit, then they're still taxed, the government's still taxing those benefits on the paid out.
So if we pay for all of it, then all of the benefits will be taxed.
Correct. And so that'll become down to an education piece, I mean, the state has said that they will have forms for applicants to fill out when they apply for these benefits. Again, haven't seen them yet. I know a lot of the accountants are watching it really close. There's just a lot of things we don't know yet. Right, we'll just have to. Roll with it. And understand the benefit, the premium amount can change annually. So it'll be a discussion you'll have each year. Because the state can change that.
There's also a way, we can also look, I mean, right now. I think because the program is so new, it's my position that we move forward with the state. There's also other groups out there that are trying to, insurance companies that are trying to quantify. A plan that would be similar to this plan that we could look at joining.
So do you want me to talk on that?
Yeah,
The equivalent,
sure.
so there's two options for equivalent plans. The first is to go out and buy an insurance plan out on the market. The state has approved about 22 companies, they're up on the website. You have to go through an application process to say we're gonna use company X. And they're gonna provide the paid leave benefit for us, so you don't pay the premium. right? And then your pricing is based just on your workplace, not the state as a whole. The other option is to self-fund. So then you'd still have an application process, and that's a little bit harder because again, all of these plans have to meet all the legal requirements, the minimums of the law. And then the self-funded plan, you'd have a bond that would cover. The problem is, I see with those and just being a small district is you're self-funding that, right? And yes, you guys have very generous vacation, very generous sick policies, but what if you have multiple occurrences, right? And someone uses all of them and then there's another occurrence the following year, because this is something that recurs year after year after year when maybe banks have been built that up. So feasibly, you would probably be looking at a self-insured policy if that's what you wanna do. The window to get those approved closes today. It was extended now till Friday. Once you do that, though, you're locked in for 2 years and you can't switch it. So that would be something if you want to consider in the future, depending on whatever happens with these premium rates.
A lot of unanswered questions out there that could change a lot.
And it's like, and then they have come out with some guidance, some rules, unlike ESST. I mean, remember, we didn't have rules when we were doing it, so this is a little bit clearer, but I fully expect there's gonna be growing pains and we're gonna continue. I mean, the guidance is coming out pretty continually. The state is pushing out a lot of information very quickly and everyone's drinking from a fire hose. So we'll just keep our eye on it over the next few weeks, and then we'll have to be nimble as everything gets implemented and kind of do the cost benefit analysis as we continue to watch maybe what will happen with those rates going into 2027. My gut is they're only gonna go up, right? So then do you wanna look at an equivalent plan of one of those costing?
Comment? Go ahead, Manager Bucking.
I kind of agree with Joe over here. The discussion, I know the personnel committee's had time to look at it. I'm familiar with it, but I don't know if we can get it to next month or not. Give us the rest of it, or board members to look at it a little bit more in detail, I guess. Right now, I guess I don't know which way I'd vote, if you're gonna go with the 0.66 or if you're gonna involve the employees or so. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Okay. Any other thoughts?
So if we want further discussion, we would have to have a special meeting. Because we need the percentage updated for our notices, which have to go out December 1st. Cause then the notice we have to say what the premium amounts are. So if you table it, we would have to have another meeting before December 1st.
So how many months or years are we locked into the 0.66 then?
So that was the state rate that was set for 2026. And then they will announce in 2027 what the new rate will be. And I don't know, I think in July, is gonna be too soon, so we'll have to see when that rate comes up. I will of course keep a close eye on it.
We as a board can change that amount at any time though, right? We could come back in January and say we're gonna change the split.
Yeah, you're not stuck at this 0.66 for now until ever. No, this is gonna have to be reviewed every year to see what that percentage is.
And what we can do is issue notices with whatever you move for today. And if anyone wants to chat further, we can do that, and then we can do an amended notice if we need to before the first.
This is a personnel recommendation.
Correct.
I'm good with that.
See, there's too many, unanswered questions yet for this first year, so to jump into something and, we can, I'd say to leave it at what we, personnel committee, agreed to until next year to see how that works out.
And we don't even know yet with the small employers, so the small employers what gets us down to 0.66, right? Standard rate is 0.88%. with the employer and the employee each paying half, 0.44%. And so I don't, I haven't figured out yet, I've heard that they're kind of backlogged on those applications, so. I don't know, exactly what it's gonna look like when we go live. So there's a lot of moving parts.
I'll have to agree with Nick, those guys, personnel committee knows more about this than I know about it.
Well, we don't, that's the problem. We don't know enough about any of this yet.
Yeah, you know more than I
Yeah.
do. So
If it's a recommendation.
I'll go along with your recommendation now.
As a committee, I believe we were unanimous on that one, 3 out of 3 voting in favor of the 0.66.
So if the employee pays the 0.44, if they take that, then that's not considered income, then
That would
They
not
draw.
be taxed on the back end, correct, as W-2 wages, then that would not be taxed. 0.44, when they draw benefits.
the benefits would be taxable either way.
Whatever the employer pays, the portion of the premium that the employer pays is taxable.
But if the employee paid the 0.44 instead of us paying all of it, then that's not taxable if they would use the benefit,
That portion, correct.
2/3 of it or whatever.
So
Yes.
it would be taxed on the 22%.
So either way, it's gonna create an accounting headache.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
And what I'm guessing, and I don't know, I'm making a guess here, is because they keep saying this is mirrored off the unemployment system. So I'm assuming once we get going, you have a paid leave account and you have someone that's designated as your administrator. Right, so I believe what will happen is when Carmen will go in, like with unemployment, she'll be able to see all the claims and the benefits that have been drawn. So then we're gonna know those numbers. It's just, we haven't seen it yet.
So we have our own individual account then as opposed to the whole state.
We have an individual account to track what we're, like our wage detail reports that are getting recorded. When employees are making claims, it's all gonna come through that account. But when we're talking about the premium rate, the 0.88 to the 0.66, that is set by the state. So unlike unemployment, so unemployment's based on like if people are using it, correct? For this, for paid leave, it's the same rate for everyone across the state.
Question could keep right on going. Any other discussion? A little more in a year. With that, you'll please call roll.
Manager Bakken,
Aye.
Manager DeBoer,
Aye.
Manager Kramer,
Aye.
Manager Pasuski,
No,
Manager Lee, Manager Delger.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Moving on to item F, motion to approve the total adjustments. This is what we do every year around this time. Most of the time we do it in December, but we've been meeting on all of the Minnesota paid leave. So we met with the personnel committee again, went through the what the county is doing, what the city is doing. Both the county and city are at a 3% cost of living allocation adjustment. The federal government, I believe, Social Security is at 2.8 something. So it was the personnel committee's recommendation to have a 2.8% COLA increase for all non-management staff. So looking for a motion for a 2.8% increase for all non-management staff.
so moved.
My manager Pasuki, do I have a second? Second. Manager Kramer, any discussion? Order.
So good for.
You'll please call roll.
Manager Bakken,
Aye.
Manager Kramer,
Aye.
Manager Pasuski,
Aye.
Manager Lee,
Aye.
Manager Delger.
Aye, carried.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Item G is a motion to approve the attendance incentive program request. That request came from Carmen Christensen and myself, Andy Henschel. Again, if you remember, this was an incentive program that we put in place in 2024. This is where we take, or where employees are allowed to take 120 hours of their ESST and turn that into an incentive-based payment of 50% of those hours. So the Personnel Committee recommended a payout to both Andy Henschel and Carmen Christensen at their 50% request for 2026. The estimated payout of this will be $6,800 to those two employees total.
Do I have a motion? Manager Pasuski, do I have a second?
Second.
By Manager Lee, is there any discussion? Hearing none, will you please call roll?
Manager Watkins,
Aye.
Manager DeBoer.
Aye.
Manager Kramer.
Aye.
Manager Pasuski,
Alright,
Manager Lee,
Aye.
Manager Delta.
Aye, motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That is all I have at this time.
Okay. Move on to item number 9, manager items, or any manager items.
I attended the county board meeting last Tuesday and basically there wasn't anything that affected the watershed there except over was the Turtle Creek watershed, they appointed Anthony Dahl as a manager there. Basically, that was it.
Any other?
I have one, there's a project we did in Manchester Township. I don't know if it's gonna be on the tour today. It's in section 31. I'd like to see that put on the agenda for December. There is some crop damage to landowners or renters or farmers or whatever, whoever's involved. I don't have all the details of the people. But yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be on the tour today or not, but there's some crop damage. Total drowned out from our project across the road. I don't know if there's any blame to be made or not, but I'd just like to see some compensation to our neighbors up there in a good faith payment. So thank you.
Wasn't there a lot of drowned out areas on the farming all over?
Yeah, you want to include more?
Oh, yeah, I know where yours at too.
But these, I think, I drove by the other day, the water level's been lowered on the project. So I don't know, the last couple of years, if the water level was higher than it should have been or not, I can't say, I guess, but I just like to have it on the agenda for next month.
Yep, let us get that on the agenda for next month, and then we'll also try to get some records and some information for you guys to look at.
Yeah, thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you, Manager Buck, anything else? Any other manager items? Hearing none, we'll go on. Item number 10, upcoming meetings, our next meeting is December 9th. Already put that on your calendars. Any other upcoming meetings?
Just the annual meeting for Minnesota Watersheds. I know we have 3 managers going. We are hopefully going to do a strategic planning meeting the second week in December with people that are and managers that are on the strategic planning committee. So hopefully we'll have some details for you guys there. And then that's all I have for upcoming meetings.
Okay. With that, I need a motion to adjourn. So moved. By Manager Blackman, I have a second. Second. Kramer. Will you please call the roll?
Manager Watkins,
Aye.
Manager DeBoer.
Aye.
Manager Kramer.
Aye.
Manager Pasuski,
alright.
Manager Lee,
Aye.
Manager Belcher.
Aye, we are adjourned.